Welcome to day 18 of 21 Days to Better Loan Processing. Today's topic is communication that gets results. Effective communication is crucial for loan processors. A slip up in this area could have dire consequences. An important aspect of communication is knowing the fastest and most efficient means to get the results you want. Using the right channel of communication at the right time will keep your pipeline moving forward fast. In today's episode, we'll touch on the two methods of communication that a loan processor uses most: telephone and email. Hi, I'm Stephanie Graham, the Peak Performance Coach here at Complete Mortgage Processing. Since shifting our focus from contract loan processing to processor training, we've helped more than 3,600 mortgage professionals to close loans faster. When working with processors on an individual or group basis, one of the first things we take a look at is how well the processor interacts with loan officers, lenders, and other third parties. In all of our observations, we discovered that problems in this area are often the root of problems that arise during underwriting and closing. When mapping out your communication strategy, the first consideration is your deadline. You always want to choose the method of communication that will keep you ahead of schedule. For some processors, that means no longer hiding behind emails, uploads, faxes, and text messages. If a phone call or in-person request eliminates the possibility of overlooked or duplicate requests, then that is definitely the way you want to go. The next consideration is whether or not your chosen route of communication is going to give you the information you need in the format you need it in. For example, a phone call may very well confirm what you need to know, yet the underwriter has requested written documentation. In that instance, when you talk to someone on the phone, you will want to ask them to give you written correspondence as well. Here are a few more things to keep in mind when communicating by phone. Know what time zone you are calling and phone at the earliest possible time. Be sure you know what time the person is unlikely to be available or what their busiest time may be, and be sure to avoid calling at those times. You also want to make certain that you are calling the right person in the right department. If you're uncertain about this, please ask. Whenever possible, establish a relationship with a direct contact so you can call their extension instead of the main phone line where you end up getting a receptionist or voicemail. And when you find someone who's responsive, stick with that person. All too often, processing gets delayed because a request was sent to the wrong person or the wrong department. Have a follow-up plan if you did not get your desired results. When you run into problems, have the courage to escalate your request to the next level of authority. At the very least, discuss it with a colleague to see if they can offer you some advice and a more efficient approach. And you also want to make it easy for others to help you by having the details they may need at your fingertips and then being ready to answer any potential questions they might have. Let's move on to the topic of email. It's important to know when email is appropriate. Although email is very easy, it's not always the best option. If you find yourself writing lengthy emails, correcting emails, or going back and forth with email, stop what you're doing and pick up the phone to get the job done instead. Emails should be clear and concise. Your email must clearly communicate who you are, where you're from, what you need, and most importantly, how you want your request to be fulfilled. Be sure to provide all of the relevant details so that they can help you, such as the names, account numbers, and any supplemental information. During this stage where you're seeking information, you also want to be mindful that you make sure to follow compliance rules which limit you disclosing your borrower's confidential information. Our final reminder for this episode applies no matter what your mode of communication is, and that's to be ready and responsive. There may be a question or two that has to be answered before your request can be fulfilled. It does no good to send an email request, then neglect to check your email for an extended period of time. It simply creates unnecessary delays. An easy way to be responsive is to have ready-to-go templates that can be easily customized with details that are specific to the type of inquiry you're responding to. You can do this by picking the top 5 to 10 situations you respond to most often. Then create a template in Microsoft Word, Google Docs, or a simple text program. Then when you need to respond to someone, you can quickly copy, paste, and modify the content so you can send it out right away. When I use Microsoft Word, I even pin my templates to my Open Documents tab to make sure that they are easy to find. Here's a quick sample template for borrowers who are having trouble structuring their letter of explanation. This is something that you could send out to respond to someone who is making an inquiry or asking for help on how to do it. It says, "Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Borrower. Thank you for sending your question. It helps us stay in tune with our borrower's needs. The best way to draft your letter of explanation is to keep it brief and make sure it answers 3 important questions. Number 1, what happened? Number 2, why it happened? And number 3, why it is unlikely to occur again. For example, was the problem resolved? Was it sold? Was it a one-time mistake?" By addressing each item, the underwriter will have details they need to render a credit decision. Please contact me right away if you have other questions. Sincerely, Sarah, Loan Officer, Processor. This sample, as well as the things we covered, are just a few quick points for communicating in a way that gets great results. Our Loan Processing Solution course includes much more information to help you in this area. In the course, we talk about common communication issues and easy ways to avoid or resolve them. You can learn more about that at CompleteMortgageProcessing.com. That's it for today. Stay tuned for another segment of 21 Days to Better Loan Processing. If you found this segment helpful, please share it with a colleague or friend. And before you go, be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time.